the process is what gets you there. It's like, I think I saw a couple guys from the Super Bowl this year that might have said they won the Super Bowl, they got to the mountaintop, and it just didn't really feel like too much. And it's like, that's because like it's all about the process. They got to fall in love with the process. Like that's like really where the kind of enjoyment and the fulfillment comes through, is like just putting in that work every day, knowing what you're working towards.
We are back. This is the Our Storylines podcast, and as always, I am your host, Gabe Henderson, and our guest today is a budding superstar. This past season with the Indianapolis Colts, he led the NFL in yards per catch, and if you know anyone that knows him well, they will all say he is one of the most competitive but humble beings that you will ever meet. And before conducting this interview, I scrolled across social media and I saw our guest throwing out a first pitch at the Chicago Cubs game. And let's just say myself, as well as his close friends, are all happy that he chose football over baseball. Welcome to the show, the one and only Mr. Alec Pierce. My guy, appreciate you joining me.
Okay, appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
I heard the I heard the laugh when I started talking about the first pitch at the Chicago Cubs game. I know that probably let's put it this way. I've seen worse pitches, but I've also seen better. But I know that had to be an experience being from Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was first off, it was a great experience. I was super. Honestly, like a full circle moment being able to do that. I grew up a huge Cubs fan, but yeah, in terms of the pitch, like I wish I could have that one back. It wasn't quite 50 Cent, but it wasn't great. Like my excuse is they put the mascot out there. He had the big glove, like the head, like he's got his head covered. I'm like, I don't know if I can hit him with the fastball here, so I tried to just guide one in there for a strike, threw it in the dirt. Not good. You just got to go out with the heat and just see where it goes.
Hey, as long as it hit the plate, I saw it hit the plate. It didn't cross the plate, but it hit it. So, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. But being from Chicago and living out a dream or living out someone else's dream of being on that mound, like what was it like growing up in Chicago, having a big family, two brothers, and just kind of budding into who you are right now?
Yeah, it was great. So I'm the middle of three boys. So I got an older brother. I think that's why I became the football player. Because it was usually my older brother's 2 years older than me, and then my younger brother's 4 years younger. So he became a really good athlete. My younger brother, I mean, we all are good athletes, but that just breeded that competitiveness, competitive nature. It made us all good at all sports. So yeah, it's fun. We still compete. It's hard. It's hard nowadays. Probably like limited to just strictly, like the golf course or like ping pong or something like that. But we don't get out there and play basketball or do things like that, because I think we'll probably kill each other out there. So
No, I love it, man. I being a North Carolina Tar Heel basketball fan, being from North Carolina, I was always a fan of your older brother Justin. And when he transferred from William and Mary, I was like, let's go. We finally got a wing that can shoot, can kind of slash, and of course the pandemic hit, and we never really got to see the full potential. I know he's overseas playing professional basketball, but your younger brother is the one similar to your older brother, just kind of figured himself out, went on that run with Princeton a few years back. But growing up in a family of success, was the goal early on to get to where you were right now? Like, how did that kind of transpire?
Yeah, for me, it was always the biggest thing. Like, I never looked too far ahead. Like, I think I could find a picture of like me in second grade and saying like, "Oh, what do you want to do when you're older?" And I say, "Well, I want to be an NFL player." I drew a picture of that. But like, to me, it was always about like, okay, I'm in middle school and I want to be the best on my team. And then it's like I get to high school and it's like I want to be. Oh, once I get to high school and I start finally, like I'm like I got to start on varsity. And once I finally, it took me a while. I think it took till like some point in my junior year to be a starter on varsity. But like once that happened, and it's like I'm playing well, I'm doing really well. Then it's like, okay, I can play in college. So then it's like I want to play in college, and then it's just kind of step by step. Then you get to college and you're like, okay, I want to get on the field. You get on the field, it's like, all right, I want to be like a star player for this team, and then like just going from there.
Given that timeline, man, like how has from your early years, how has your purpose evolved?
For me, it's always been about like what can I do to get better? What can I do to, whether it's I think and when you get to this level, I think I've noticed with a lot of my friends, like it is your life, it affects every decision you make. You're sitting there like, what should I eat for dinner tonight? Is this gonna be a good meal? And some people might think that's exhausting, but to me that's just kind of been how I've like train myself to be, and like my right now my purpose is to try to become the best athlete I can, to be the best football player, to have the best career I can, to win, hopefully win some games for the city of Indianapolis, win a Super Bowl. So like it's kind of just that's kind of just like the at the forefront of your life, and you just kind of try to make your decisions on that, I guess I'd say.
Now I'm with you on that, man. Just being a former college athlete myself, and I
Yeah.
think the personally what football taught me throughout my career was what a process was. And when I took a step back, I always looked towards the end goal. But seeing other people besides you going through that same journey as you, it really focuses you, and it forces you to lock in on
Mhm.
that process. And similar to yourself, coming out of high school, I was a 3-star athlete. For you, I know you played multiple sports, volleyball, basketball, track, football. And when you went through that process of recruiting, I tell people, for me, recruiting was probably the hardest process for me. Having multiple scholarship offers, not knowing where to go, not wanting to make anyone mad, like that was tough for me. I know a lot of people say, like, bro, like you got schools paying for your college. Like, why is that tough?
Yeah.
Walk me through your college process. Like when you first started to get offers, or when you first started to realize, hey, I actually might be good at this. And then ultimately choosing the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah, so it for me it started with my junior year. I had played safety before then, so I changed the receiver going to my junior year. Break my collarbone like first day. We would do like summer practices, like first or second day of summer practice. Before we had pads on, I jumped up, landed on my shoulder, break my collarbone. So luckily, I didn't have to have surgery or anything, but I just let that heal for like 8 weeks. But that
Mm.
took me all the way into like August, like real like fall camp, like when you're getting after it. So I think then like I'm new to the position, took me a while to kind of figure out like, okay, I got to play receiver, I got to line up here, I got to do this, so I took me probably till midway through my junior year to really be starting, because we only played one receiver. So I didn't have like a ton of stats, but I really started like balling out towards the playoffs. And I just remember like after the year is over, I ended up getting all state because I had made a ton of big plays in the playoffs. And um, after the year's over, I think it's actually Sharon Moore, he's Michigan's head coach now, but he was with Central Michigan. They were my first like offer, I think, like first FBS offer. And I just remember him saying like he like pointed, they had my film up, he pointed out, he's like, oh, we got this guy at camp. He ran like a 4.4 at camp, and they just showed me just like burning right past him on a deep ball.
Yep.
So they was like basically they saw that I could run, I could move. And I think that once I got that first offer, I'm like, oh, they kind of flipped the switch in my head. I'm like, I could do this in college. Like this is my way to go and get free college.
Mm-hmm.
Since he actually was the last offer I ever
Oh,
got,
wow.
I played out my. So a lot of people I feel like commit before their senior year. People don't want to get hurt, whatever. Um, yeah. So I played out my senior year because I really wanted to play in the Big Ten. I had like all the MAC schools, like a bunch of like the Ivy League schools, like service academies, kind of. So I didn't have any, no, nothing Power Five, right? I really wanted to play in the Big Ten. I grew up a big Northwestern Wildcats fan, from the Big Ten, but I got one offer from my senior year, and it was the University of Cincinnati.
Mm.
And I think I was set on before my senior year, I was probably going to go to Miami, Ohio,
Okay.
because just of all the MAC schools I looked at, like I felt like I enjoyed, like I liked that one the most.
I mean,
Um,
good alum, Sean McVay, Ben Roethlisberger, some really good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They got some. Yeah, they got some. I went down to. I had an official visit scheduled for Cincinnati. I didn't know anything about it. Honestly, didn't really know where Cincinnati was. Just felt like a lot higher ceiling there. Like I get down, like, oh, this is like a big time football stadium. Like you got a
Mm-hmm.
statue of like Oscar Robertson here. Like they got a ton of history in athletics. Football team had their little stint back with like the Kelsey brothers, Brian Kelly. Like So they were good recently too. So I was like, okay, it just feels like a little bit more big time than obviously Luke Fickell, head coach there. I think he kind of was running it. Like he came from Ohio State, so he was kind of bringing in that kind of stuff from Ohio State. So it was very much like big time program, the way they ran themselves and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just felt that energy there. I don't know. I got back from the visit and I was like, I just felt that felt great. Like I felt like home for me. And then I think I committed maybe a day or two later. And then it was in December. So I think you could sign right away. So I think I signed might have committed and signed like a week or two, like a couple days later. So I was like, yeah, it was a pretty quick process. I'm like, all right, I'm committed. I'm going there. My name's on that paper. So I'm gonna be there whatever June 1st, whenever they say. So
I think that says a lot about your personality. Like, granted, like right now, I mean, I've heard a lot about you through your college coach who was my college teammate, Mike Brown, who's at Notre Dame right now. But everyone that I've talked to that knows you very well always says you love grinding. What did that
mm.
extra set like? How has those extra sets shaped your mindset that's got you to where you are right now?
No, I just love we practice hard at Cincinnati, and I know it's a different. Like I know the NFL is different, and everyone pretty much like you just can't work as hard as you did in college. There's different rules and stuff like that. But we got after it at Cincinnati, and I do remember, Mike Brown always he would hit us with he say horses got to run. He'd like be like, like it's your job. You got to be able to run. So like kind of take the same mindset to NFL. I try to be out there whenever my body's able to, and get the reps and just run fast every day. I know like some people they might get into science and be like, oh, you've been running too much here and here, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
I'm
man,
fast. I'm
if
fast.
yeah, I was to say if I run today, like I just feel like I'm getting myself like I'm getting that condition up, I'm getting those legs stronger to where I can just the game's gonna be easy.
Now I think that's really a synopsis to life, man. It's really finding your strengths and then just
Yeah,
running full speed. Like sometimes you have to make those full speed mistakes in order to really get to where you need to go. Like with anything, like with any route, like the ball may not come to you, but if you run full speed, you put pressure on the defense to open up opportunities for the
yeah.
running back or for someone else to make plays. So I really respect that about you, and I appreciate you saying that.
Really the reason I got the offer from Cincinnati was there's a quarterback. He's one of my best friends now, Ben Bryant. And Ben was at Lyons Township, which is a high school like right by me. And so Ben, I think I picked off Ben in a game. Like they had me playing corner on his receiver and his best receiver, and I had an interception on him. Like the dude like burnt me off the line, but he tried to throw it up, and I think I like undercut it and picked him off right. And Ben, so like on the phone call, Mike Denbrock, he was our OC, and he was the guy who recruited our area. He I think he was asking, they were just talking to Ben because Ben had been committed there, probably just doing like a little check in, whatever. And he's like, hey, he asked Ben, any guys that we should be looking at and in the area. And so Ben said my name. And since he was kind of at that point now, I think they were just trying to like round out their recruiting class. So like,
Wow.
I was the perfect guy to round out the class because they probably didn't recruit me as a wide receiver, probably said like athlete. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, this is just a guy we can get here that's gonna be a good athlete. We can kind of probably redshirt him, figure out where he goes. So we went, I went 4 years and got drafted with 8 other teammates.
That's
So
crazy.
my whole freshman year, I played special teams. I was a wide receiver, but I was really just like a gunner, like frontline KOR, like kickoff guy,
Mm-hmm.
and
You
trying to
just
block
you're
punts.
just you're just going out, just putting your head into
I,
things, and
I was a
just
teamer. I was a teamer, man. I was going out there getting that paycheck, right? So, I had earned their trust. They loved me, but then they wanted to find a way to get me on the field, and I don't think the receiver coach at the time hadn't seen a whole lot of me in receiver. So I think they asked if they can change me to try me out at linebacker because our special teams coach is our outside linebacker coach. So it was really like an outside linebacker nickel because I don't think we ran a nickel
that's
at the time.
crazy.
Yeah, so it was fun because I was out there in space. I was doing a lot of a lot of dropping to the flats, trying to play the pass,
Mm-hmm.
and but to me, it was like it was cool until they ran that inside zone, and I was like the unblocked guy, and I had to go in there because like hey, you're first of all you're far away, so you got to run a long distance and try not to get juked, and then they probably just run. I was like 200 pounds, maybe 205 pounds, like they probably just run me over too, so. Because that's 6'3", that's that's not. I definitely need to add some weight, but
6'3",
um,
205, coming
yeah,
downhill.
yeah,
Okay.
that's tough. That's not a great tackle there, but I had to learn how to tackle too, right? But I knew where my heart was at. I wanted to play receiver.
Hmm.
I wanted to catch the ball, make big plays, score touchdowns, right? And it what helped for me is, Coach Mike Brown. He came in and we had a new receiver coach. So it's like, for me, I'm like, okay, I get a fresh start with a new coach. I can come out here, and one, like, he doesn't have any opinions on me. Two, I get to see like what he's got for me and how he'll teach me and coach me up and all that. And that was the biggest thing for me is just like we kind of went back. He was Coach Brown, like you said earlier, just huge on the fundamentals. So he kind of built me up from the ground up. I think I had all the tools in terms of just athleticism, and I was just very raw, right? So he hammered down those fundamentals and got me right.
Man, that receiver room that you guys had with him at the helm, three wide receivers in that room, including yourself, all in the NFL.
Hmm.
What was that room like as far as competitiveness, but also brotherhood?
Yeah, it was definitely competitive. We like you said, there's only one football to go around, right? So, luckily, I think we had a good kind of variety of players. A lot of I was the only like kind of bigger receiver, so but we all the common denominator was we could all fly, so we could all run. So, but yeah, we were all super close, and I think that's what really helped us because we kind of pushed each other, like January we're just doing workouts, we're not even on the field, but like it's 3-4 p.m. I'm getting a text from somebody like, "Hey, let's go out to the field. Let's go. We're gonna work on some like ladder drills, or we're gonna work on some type of footwork, whatever." So we did a good job of like really, pushing each other. I think, and that's like that was just fun for us, right? Like we were out there just messing around, probably playing some music, whatever, just getting working, right? That was what we were doing just to pass the time. So I think kind of gets everyone better.
I love that, man. You go from big play Pierce, a guy who doesn't get many targets, but every target pretty much that comes your way is a big play. You get a nickname. Uh, you ultimately have one of the best careers in Cincinnati football history, on arguably the best two teams in the history of Cincinnati football. You go to two New Year's Six bowls. Like, there's all this success, and it gets you up into a point where you hear your name called in the NFL draft in the second round.
Yeah.
During that process, man, I'm sure there had to be some lowlights that you turned into highlights. What were some of those things that you had to overcome to get you to getting your name called by Roger Goodell?
Well, one, I studied mechanical engineering, so I had a ton of schoolwork, man. So that was tough, just kind of figuring out how I was gonna balance football with school,
Hmm.
with just like social life, all that. And then, but it was fun though because I was grinding. I was actually playing really well in football, so, but I would just say that wasn't necessarily low light. It was just tough for me, kind of figuring out like how I was gonna do it all. And then, junior year, I'd say was probably the lowest of my college career. I had like, so we had COVID, so it was kind of messed up. We had games canceled right early in the year, like no, all the non-conference canceled, and actually maybe like a week or a couple days before our first game, I cut in practice and I tore my meniscus in my knee, and all they just did a little scope, cleaned it up. Like they said, it was like 4 to 6 weeks, whatever. So I think I only missed like a game or two with that because like we had maybe a game and then a week off and another game. So I came back. We played at SMU, and I remember like my knee was super stiff, like wasn't really feeling like myself. Probably didn't play my best game, and then the next week I get another week under my belt of practice and moving my knee around. It's feeling a lot better. Next week I go out there and I had like, I want to say it was against maybe ECU or Memphis maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a Halloween game and I had like a touchdown in the first quarter, like a bomb, like 50-yard touchdown first quarter, and then they come back to me second quarter, beat the guy off the line, and they throw it up and I go and jump over him and kind of get my legs taken out as a pass interference, and I land right on my elbow and I dislocated my shoulder. So that was just, that right there was the low point for me because I just remember like I had worked so hard and getting back from that knee. I'd never had like surgery or any injuries before, so it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of all new to me, right?
Hmm.
And I worked so hard to get back from that knee, and I was finally feeling good. And then I dislocated my shoulder, and it was like I was still able to, you know, like wear the shoulder brace. I maybe missed 1 week, and then the next week I wear the shoulder brace, and I'm out there, just with the shoulder brace, finish out the season. But then I had to have another surgery, so I think just the fact that as a 20-year-old right there was like I was just a little down. I was like, man, because I already had gone through that surgery process just like a month ago, and you know how that is. It's not a fun process. Like you don't want to be in crutches, you don't want to be in a sling, all that. So um, that was tough for me, but I was able to kind of make the most of that junior year. I still had a pretty good year, pretty solid year, wearing that shoulder sling, and then I didn't want to get shoulder surgery, but I think I tried to play pickup basketball right after right after I'm a lefty,
Yeah.
and it was my left shoulder that dislocated. So I tried to play pickup basketball right after the year, and I remember I'm trying to do like a layup, but I'm like kind of like I wouldn't put my like elbow like above my shoulder, like I kind of just like short arm and layups, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got to get this fixed. Like I can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, what did those moments teach you?
Injuries always give you perspective. You see like it makes you really like appreciate the game and love it because like you said, like practice out there can be a grind, but like there's nothing worse than sitting and watching practice. Like it makes it feel like it could be an hour and a half practice. You feel like you're out there for 4 hours just sitting and watching that. So it really makes you appreciate it. You miss being out there with your boys, especially in college. You're so tight with everybody. Like it definitely makes you like hungrier, like ready to go. Like just knowing like okay, like I when I come back, like I'm gonna be I gotta make the most of these opportunities because I just saw like what happens. It can just be gone in a flash.
I only got a few more questions for you, but before we talk football again, you brought up mechanical engineering.
Yeah,
Why mechanical engineering? Why did you major in that in college?
yeah. So I was really good at math, like and really good at math, and I liked physics a lot in high school. So those are my two kind of subjects. You would talk to a guidance counselor and tell them you're good at that. They'll probably tell you to go into engineering, right? But for me, it was a big thing. Like I think my grandfather was a mechanical engineer, and then my other grandpa was a car mechanic. So I've loved cars, grew up loving cars. So I knew like engineering. There's a ton of engineering that goes into making cars and all that stuff. So that fascinated me. So that was probably the biggest thing. And then really once I got into college, like I had so many people tell me you can't do football and mechanical engineering or engineering. So like that, I'm pretty hard headed. That got me just motivated to do it more.
Mm-hmm.
And like once I got in, I think probably by like my junior year, I was getting deep in like the mechanical engineering stuff, and I was like, this is not necessarily like really what I want to do. But I was like, man, I'm so close to getting this degree. Like I might as well just get it, because it's a great degree to have. Like you
Right.
can really do anything with it because it shows you're a problem solver. It shows you're smart. It's a hard degree to get, so it shows you're very like intelligent. Um, yeah, so I just finished it out then, but I think I was gonna try and do some more business type stuff, maybe get like an MBA if I stayed for a fifth year of college. So we'll see.
Man, I was looking up the traits that makes a good mechanical engineer, and I was just looking for just words that really stand out. And three words that stood out to me were analytical,
Yep.
creative, visionary.
Yep.
How do those three words translate to who you are as a player, but also who you are as a person?
So the first one is definitely the strongest of my three traits on there. Is right there. Like I'm highly analytical. Like I love numbers. I could look at just stats and stuff like that just all day. Like that stuff to me just it speaks to me. I don't know. I just can relate to it well. Um, the other one you said creative and
Yep.
visionary.
Mm-hmm.
I can be creative in terms of like maybe like solving a problem, figuring stuff out like that, but that's where I might not be like the total like entrepreneur of an engineer. I think I might have been a little bit more. I think I just wanted to stick with the numbers and just doing the math problems and figuring out those type of problems.
But I honestly, bro, I do think like creativity is problem solving too. Like you
Yeah.
have to be creative if you're going to be analytical. Like I think good
Yeah.
analytical people are good problem solvers. So I
Yeah.
got to give you some credit, but keep going.
Okay. Okay. I mean, and there's a lot of obviously playing sports, playing receiver is like there's a lot of creativity in that.
One
So
of the most creative positions is the receiver position.
yeah, yeah. So that's valid.
And that visionary, walk me through that.
I don't even know like what's that even? How's that even really relate to engineering? Like just being able to see
Yeah,
like
you can see things. So I personally think when it comes to a visionary, you can see the end result before
yeah.
you actually attack the problem, which ultimately makes you excited about the process. That's
Yeah.
how I view a
Okay.
visionary.
Yeah, and like you said, when we talk about football being about processes, like everything, coaches love talking about that, right? They're like, it's not about it's not about the end result, it's about the process, stuff like that. So I think that is like, that's probably a very good thing to have, just not only in engineering but just in life and especially like in athletics. I think because it's like the process is what gets you there. It's like I think I saw a couple guys from the Super Bowl this year that might have said they won the Super Bowl, they got to the mountaintop, and it just didn't really feel like too much. And it's like that's because like it's all about the process. You got to fall in love with the process. Like that's like really where the kind of enjoyment and the fulfillment comes through is like just putting in that work every day, knowing what you're working towards.
I love that, man. Two more questions for you. The first one, you said something along the lines of you always had a love for cars, and
Yeah,
being a mechanical engineer is something that kind of aligns with your passion for cars.
yeah.
If there was a car that best fit your attributes as a player, what
Oh
car would that be?
man, that's a great question. See, I got an Audi. I love Audis. I'll say an Audi RS7. I'll
Mm.
give you that one right there.
Why?
I think it's versatile, but I think it's just like, and it might not look like it's gonna be that fast, but you get a thing on the line, it's gonna fly. Um, there's a lot of great cars out there. We got our other receivers in the room. Like I give Josh something a little bit more like a little bit quicker. Maybe like a little Porsche like 911 or something like that. Something that can just move crazy, handle stuff like that. And then Pitt's big and strong. He's probably a little bit more. I don't want to call him a truck because that's probably like disrespectful. He's something that's like big, strong, and fast though, right? So like, yeah, you gotta. That is an interesting thing though. I need to figure that out. Maybe I'll chat GPT that and see what they think.
That's homework for you, but I think
Yeah,
that's the purpose of this whole conversation is we just
yeah,
continue to move forward. By year four
yeah,
and year five, you're going to be a new car. By year
yeah.
7 to 8, 9, 10,
And
it'll be a new car.
just keep adding on. Just
It,
keep upgrading, adding on, right?
exactly, and when you look back at the end of your career, you open up that garage and see all the cars that
Yeah,
ultimately made you and made your career. Hopefully, it's
yeah,
something that you can be proud of, man. And it's a contract year for you. I know there's the outside pressures that come with that internally. I don't know what you're dealing with, but understanding that you kind of went from a guy who continued to just work to be seen, make plays when opportunities came your way, to now being the guy. Like, what comes with being the guy going into your contract year?
basically last year I tried to just make the most of every opportunity that I got. Just starting in practice, I realized the importance of like how much practice is basically auditioning for the game, right? Like you gotta show that you can every opportunity you get, whether it's OTAs or whatever, every route you run, every ball thrown to you is like a audition. If you make that play, they're like, oh, we like him on this route, we can do him on this route. Um, and if you don't make that play, they might start thinking about putting someone else in there to make that play. So I kind of flipped that mindset last year, and like you said, being the guy, like you gotta understand, like you gotta make the play, like when your numbers call, like the team's looking for you, especially in big moments, and that's kind of what I pride myself on, and just being there for not only the big play but just in crunch time. I think most of my touchdowns in my career have been like I've had an absurd amount in like the final 2 minutes of games, like or 3 minutes of games, something like that. So I do feel like I thrive towards the end of the game under pressure, stuff like that. And so that's something I just take pride in, just being there like when the team needs you the most.
I love that, man. And as I move to my last question, the premise and the name of this show is called Our Storylines. And when I started this interview, I named off a bunch of adjectives and a bunch of storylines that the outside people view as who Alec Pierce is, led the NFL in yards per catch, so on and so forth. For yourself, up until this point, how would you define your personal storyline?
It's a deep question. I'd say I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend. I got a lot of great friends. That those are the things and then obviously I'm a child of God. Those are the things I put first in my life. I think life's all about relationships, and I've just value all the people I've met over the years. I feel like I have. You get how it is with football, man. You get to connect with so many different people, and especially NFL. There's just new guys coming in all the time. So I use it as an opportunity to just meet so many people and try and build relationships, make friends, because you never really know where things are going to go. I've made some friends in the NFL that I think are going to be some of my best friends for life. So family's obviously super important to me. I'm still really tight with my childhood friends growing up from Glen Ellen, Illinois. Most of those guys live down in Chicago now, so I get to go see them when I go home. I'll stop by, say what's up to them, and then my guys from Cincy too. So yeah, it's pretty special. But I'm blessed to be able to play football, represent the city of Indianapolis. Yeah.
I'm excited about what the future holds for you, man. Like you got a great career. I think the last thing I wanted to do in this interview was talk too much about the Colts. And I say that because that story is still being written. And I think to put a definition and to cap what you've already done is limiting your future success. So, man, I'm looking forward to, that next conversation where we can continue to just build on what we built on so far, man. So I'm excited for you from afar, from just meeting you, man. Like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank
So
you. Appreciate that.
looking forward to just what the future holds. And I appreciate you joining the Our Storylines podcast, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me.